Today we're joined by Mike Montague, Global Head of Content for Sandler Training. Hey, Mike, we're often told that we look like famous people. For me, I clearly look like a young Andy Garcia, and you clearly look like Mr. Clean.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see it at all.
Mike, when I'm speaking to people right now, a lot of them are having a hard time kind of calming the monkey mind and winning the war between their ears. So from your perspective, what are some of the behaviors, attitudes, and techniques you'd suggest for people to help kind of calm what's going on inside their head?
I think there are a few things. And first of all, I would start by looking at how you look at yourself. So do you see yourself as somebody that's capable and flexible to deal with this crisis? Are you prepared and confident when you wake up in the morning? Are you ready to dive in and get to work? Or are you still struggling with your basic needs? I'm worried about income and security and food and toilet paper. Or are you being proactive about your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself and your being able to take care of somebody more than yourself? So giving to others and your clients when you're out there prospecting, or your employees if you're a leader. And at Sandler, we have two concepts for that. The first one is separating who you are from what you do. And we call that identity and role separation. So if you think about who you are is going to be the same after this crisis is over. Your roles in what you do change day to day, and they might change from hour to hour on what you need to do to be successful. So if you can somehow create some distance and say, hey, I'm playing the role of somebody in a crisis right now, or in the recovery here in a little bit, how can I adjust what I'm doing but keep who I am the same? I think that's a big deal. And then the second part is you got to protect that who I am, your identity. Your identity should be a 10 all the time. And if it's not a 10, call a timeout and take care of it, whether that's journaling, meditation, just taking a nap, or taking care of yourself and taking a nice lunch break, or a walk around the block. Take care of your eyesight and monitor that on a regular basis.
I think for me, when I first encountered Sandler Training many years ago, I was one of those guys that just said, give me the techniques, give me the hand-to-hand combat, and kind of keep some of that fluffy stuff to yourself. And then now I look back at what was actually impactful for me, and identity and role theory was at the very top of that list. The idea of keeping your role side and your identity side separate. So I think the attitude is huge. The idea that we are I-10s all the time. And in our role, we may fluctuate, but we always have the I side covered as an I-10. So if that's the attitude, then what are some of the behaviors and techniques people can implement in order to help keep that I side at 10?
Yeah, you bet. And I have a new virtual background here. It's my eyesight. So my identity was formed during the 80s. You might see some weird stuff popping out here from my identity, but I wanted to share that with you. Because I think there are some things you can do, even if it's just taking the second to laugh and to see yourself as somebody that's capable. I mentioned meditation is huge and journaling is huge for me. I make sure I start my day with a power hour where I do both of those things. So at the beginning of the day, I will wake up, get some food. I'll go and meditate for 10 minutes and make sure that I'm starting with the right frame of mind. Then from there, I go into journaling what I hope to accomplish that day, things that I'm grateful for, and things that I know I need to do in order to be successful. And then finally, I start exercising and start moving. So once I'm prepared my mind for the day and my to-do list of top priorities, and I've kind of triaged what is in the email and what is on my top priorities that I know I have to do today, then I will move along and start executing those things. So immediately get to a workout, make sure my body is prepared as well, and then jump into my top priorities before I get caught up in any other distractions, take any phone calls, or have any meetings.
That's huge. So that power hour, mindfulness or meditation, journaling and fitness, those are some great behaviors people can put into practice. So then what about techniques? What are some techniques or tactics that people can implement to help them protect their eyesight?
I think along those same lines, you want to use a journal. I use a journaling app on my phone that alerts me at 6:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. to complete my journal. I also use the Headspace meditation app to keep myself, going through a guided meditation and not just kind of distracting or trying to figure everything out on my own. I think the other techniques are spacing, because so many times we get all caught up and we're running from one thing to the other. We don't give ourselves enough room to be creative or to prepare for that next call. So if you're a salesperson, block out 20 minutes before and after the call to pre-brief and debrief and decompress from a sales call. If you're a leader, same thing with your appointments and your priorities. Make sure that you're taking a lunch break, even if you don't eat a whole ton and you don't want to do that. Take a break to watch a show, walk around the block, create separation from your work, and give yourself permission to de-stress. Same thing before and after work. I found that a virtual commute is really helpful. So if you, at the end of your day, go walk around the block or around the house or go do some sort of fun activity before you move to family time, it gives you time to decompress and draw a fine line, again, between who you are and what you're doing. So we need to create more space and more barriers between our activities. Otherwise, they get all jumbled together and we're just running in a frantic mess nonstop until we're out of energy, and our performance will dip dramatically. If not during the day, certainly this far into the crisis, weeks and months into this thing, we're all starting to run out of energy if you're not doing things to replace it.
Mike, thanks so much for sharing that. I really, really love it. So again, the attitude is we are I-10s. We can only perform in our role in a manner in which we see ourselves conceptually. So it's okay if we have a bad day. Our role can fluctuate, but we are always I-10s. I love that. Behavior, mindfulness, journaling, exercise is huge. And the tactics of actually having technology, whether it's Headspace or certain journaling apps you can use, are really, really impactful. Also, for those who do not listen to the How to Succeed podcast that Mike hosts, it's phenomenal. You can find it on iTunes or any place you get your podcasts. It's How to Succeed. Mike, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. Sandler Worldwide Shoutouts. We are speaking with Sandler trainers from around the world, getting their best practices, their behaviors, their attitudes, and their techniques. I hope you learned something from today. Hope you can put it into practice. Good luck and happy selling. Hey, Mike, so you're the host of the How to Succeed podcast. So how does it feel having had a chance to speak to a real host with real charisma, considering you don't have any of that?
Hey, I'm sorry. I stepped out to get a drink. Did you start already?
Touche, sir. Touche.